Narcissistic people have no intention of being in a long-term, happy, healthy relationship. It's never going to happen. So what makes us think that this is the last relationship? This is the one, this is perfect, last relationship we're ever going to have. In this video, I want to talk about how narcissists will keep you stuck in a dead-end relationship way longer than you need to be, thinking that everything is just fine. A big, busy, eventful life is a trick that a lot of narcissists like to pull to make you think you are having an entirely different experience than you actually are. If something's always coming up, hey, what better sign than things are good than when things are busy? A trip, wedding, concert, vacation, whatever. This can and often does make you think, well, hey, they're not just going to up and ghost me. We're going to go see this concert. We're going to go, do this thing, insert some musical group all the kids like, I don't know. Your cousin's wedding is next April. You guys RSVP'd. You're not going to break up. You've blended all kinds of things together and doing so much together. The thought of unraveling it all and collecting it and moving on alone becomes an impossible thought, pretty much. Lots of narcissists try to keep life busy because busy, again, seems to equal good. Busy is also just that, distracting. You'll also find, like everything else on this list, narcissists rush everything. And never is this more true than with them doing something else that keeps you stuck way too long. They profess this superficial, terrible idea of love for you. When I first started this channel, I remember making videos saying, I met this person in real life, because of course we met online. We had one date. He jumped us right into, we need to be in a relationship. We don't need to see other people. We had to be together. A few days later, it was in love. Then it was love. Then it was let's get married. I tell no lie when I say I went from stranger to fiance to this person in less than 30 days. I'd say maybe closer to 21. And I know I'm not alone. This has moved along so quickly because they do tell you how much they love you in a lot of cases, how special you are, beautiful, handsome, intelligent, whatever. Nobody else is like you. Your soulmates, right? You might hear that. Twin flames, meant to be, will the two ships passing in the night find each other and be together forever? All of that. Survivor, make no mistake. You are amazing and wonderful too. This person is not lying when they tell you those things. They just have absolutely no way of knowing whether or not they love you yet. They don't know you well enough to know if they love you. Mirroring and mimicking, love bombing, stalking, and lusting are things that people do when they don't know you, but they think they know you, or they want you to think that they really know who you are. And it's all very unfortunate because it lulls us into a false sense of security about being with this person. If you'd like to talk one-on-one about what you're going through or what you've gone through as a result of a toxic relationship, you can email BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com to set up private chats and conversations with me. Another trick that fools us into thinking we have such a great, healthy, happy relationship with someone narcissistic is something that just kind of recently came to my attention. It's kind of weird. I never thought about this before. I used to talk about kids. They say, let's have kids, or I can't wait to have kids. Here, meet my kids. Let me meet your kids, blah, blah, blah. And that is on my list too. We're going to get there. We're pretty much here right now. Kids, yeah. But a big game and a big trick that I'm noticing, I started my channel in 2019. What I'm noticing in these last, 3.5 years is it's now kind of switched from kids to let's get a dog, let's get a cat, let's adopt an animal. Pets have become like diet children, or they're like the appetizer before you start talking about children. The animal requires love and care, but they don't do everything that children can do. It's like a small step in that future fakey kind of thing, but it's not full on, let's have a family. So tell me down in the comments if getting a pet was something that you talked about or did in your relationship with a narcissist. Also, this part is totally just for me, but if you share the name of the animal, I love hearing what people name their pets. That's just for me. Now, naturally, as we talked about kids and pets, we're going to drift into, of course, moving in together. And this is certainly something that narcissists can bring up early on in the relationship. A lot of them bring up moving in together early on in the relationship because I think a lot of people who behave this way bounce around a lot from place to place. And I think quite a few of them don't really have much of a stable residence. And I think those who don't are naturally more inclined to bring this up more often and, of course, much quicker. But this one is just a little hard for me to speak on because I'm conflicted. It's definitely a form of future faking. I can never sit here and say that it isn't. Wanting to move in together is a great way to convince somebody that you want to be with them for a long time because, hello, you're living in the same fucking house. So definitely future faking, but I'm not entirely convinced. And maybe this is just something that we have to take on that narc by narc basis, that stupid thing I always say, but I'm not entirely sure they want to live with another person. What I mean is I'm positive they want that source of supply there. They want that source of supply in the same house with them because that's great. Someone is right there 24/7 to use and abuse. However, I've said this for years. Living with a source of supply really screws up your dating action. It's hard to cheat and carry on with other people in your harem when you live with someone 24/7. And the best theory that I can reach, because unfortunately I've sat here and probably given this far too much thought, but the best theory that I can reach regarding this is I think narcs only push to move in if they have trouble keeping that stable housing. Now, some do. Some are high-functioning narcs and they can hold a job and keep a place to live, but I think this is something that maybe some of them talk about and they don't necessarily follow through with. I don't know. I definitely think rushing to move in is an absolute form of future faking. I'm just not entirely sure if this is something that they say because they want to or something they do because they need to. I think I'm leaning more towards this might be something they purely do out of necessity. So do with that what you will. Again, more natural progression. We move on to things like getting engaged and getting married. Big future fakey, we're going to be together forever gestures, obviously. And this is another piece where I have to repeat myself. I don't know why they do this exactly, because we know that they're just going to cheat on their fiance. We know they're just going to cheat on their spouse, their significant other. So I'm not sure if some of them just get too enticed to lock down long-term prime grade A supply, or are they just having trouble running around and finding other supply? What do they feel is the benefit here? And I think that's just something where some narcs find benefit in it and others don't, or maybe there are some narcs who need to get married for money or a place to live. Maybe there are more high-functioning narcissists and they don't necessarily need to be married, so they're not. I think a lot of narcissists, like the one I was with, I think that they're so crafty, they think they're just going to get away with this forever. I think there is that true narcissistic ego where they think, well, I can live with someone and cheat on them and get away with it. I can marry someone and live in the same house as them and cheat on them and get away with it. So maybe that's what I'm failing to take into consideration here is that huge ego where they truly do feel superior and think that they can get away with whatever the hell they want. So these are some of the most common ways that narcissists will just suck you in and make you think that you're always going to be together forever. This is also really common when they try to hoover and suck you back in. These are the most common things they say and do to try to keep us hanging on really far longer than we should in the relationships. But of course, I'm positive this isn't everything. So tell me what I missed down in the comments. If you would like to support my work here, I invite you to hit the subscribe button, leave a super thanks comment. Join the Survivors Army if you want more content. I do all kinds of rants, talk about lessons I've learned, and all kinds of other stuff. I invite you to do that. I also want to thank some members of my awesome Survivors Army, like Stephanie Glass, Heather, D, Lee Brown, and Daniel M. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, Survivor, and take care of yourself.